Assalamu alaikum, Wajir High School. I'm Sharif Ahmed, the Deputy Warden, Kenya Wildlife Service, Wajir County. Today, I have chosen to be with you as a young boys, as a growing generations that will take over the next leadership of this great country and this great county. Have you welcomed me? I used to be aware during my learning period, I used to know Wajir High School as one of the giants in academics and co-curriculum activities. Are you still giant, or you have put off the mantle? Are you still giant? It seems you are still giant, because I can see from the face of the head teacher that you are still giant. And promise me you will be still the giant. Okay? Inshallah. So today, being with you here, do you believe yourself as the next generation or the next leadership of this county? So the bold decisions that you take today will determine your future. If you take the change today and believe yourself that you are the next leader, next leaders, or the next generation to inherit this county, you will be. And that does not only confined to the academic situation, but all dimensions of this life. I represent the Kenya Wildlife Service here today, so that I take you through few minutes of wildlife conservation education, so that you will be the champions, the ambassadors of conservation in tomorrow. Will you promise me to be the champions of conservation? Okay. How many of you heard of Kenya Wildlife Service before? Anybody who has interacted or stayed with or met Kenya Wildlife Service staff? Is there anybody? Have you interacted with Kenya Wildlife Service before? The next question. Anybody of you has ever seen a live giraffe within the vicinity? What about elephants? Who have ever seen elephants? By show of hands. Elephant, a live elephant that is grazing. Not the walimu who have gone to Kenya and traveled to other parts. I mean the students. Anybody who have seen a live elephant that is grazing in it is natural ecosystem? Anybody? There's nobody. So that means the generation to come are at the risk of not seeing even a giraffe that is grazing in the natural ecosystem, because we used to have elephants in our area and in our environment. But as of today, you have proved that no one of you have ever seen a grazing elephant. That means if we will not take an extra caution, in the next generation we will not be having a live giraffe. So as a young learners, as a coming generation, what are our roles to conserve this precious God-given resource, so that we keep it for future generations? Is it not a matter that is need to be put into consideration? I'm here today to sensitize you and to make you understand that why we need to conserve this animal, and what are our roles as a young learners. All of you have gathered here to learn at these few years that you will be here, but at the end of this tenure, you will go back to your field, your home area, your villages. You need to take the mantle and be a conservation ambassadors, so that we make our parents, our laymen and laywomen who are at the village, that they need to conserve wildlife, so that tomorrow we will benefit from them. Because you are all here learning and you want employment tomorrow. Employment is not only from one government, but at different agencies. Kenya Wildlife Service being one of them, the tourism sector being among them. So wildlife can benefit you through employment. We have so much of advantages and importance of wildlife, among them being employment. I am here today employed by Kenya Wildlife Service, and if there were no wildlife in Kenya, I could not have been employed. And here you are learning today and you want to be employed tomorrow. So if you don't conserve today, tomorrow's employment might be slim to few agencies. Despite that, we will eliminate this wildlife, means Kenya Wildlife Service will collapse since we are not conserving it. So it is our role, our sole responsibility to conserve. Because if we conserve, about conservation is beyond being responsible, thinking beyond our own life and understanding that everything on this earth is connected. So for that to thrive, we need to be responsible. You came from the farthest corners, be it from the north or the south of this county. You need to be ambassadors of conservation so that you make our parents understand. We should not take the greed of us individuals within the society so that these animals will not benefit us as a society, but benefit an individual. Because if someone kills an animal and eliminates that animal, it is only him who is benefiting for that day. But if we conserve and make it as a society property, it will be the whole society that will benefit through medication, through employment, through tourism destinations. Also, wildlife plays an important role towards the consistency and the biodiversity of the environment. Because one of the importance of wildlife is the pollination. If a bird jumps from a tree to another, it helps in pollination. So we also consider that all the fruits that we get, all the fruits that our animals eat, are achieved as a result of this wildlife assisting in pollination. So there is no way that we will be not in need of this wildlife in all aspects of life. It is a medicinal value, it's an educational tool, because research are being done through the wildlife service or through the wildlife or the wild animals. So we need to conserve this wild animal. Because the sustainability of human to prosper, we need the three pillars. That is the economy, the environment, and the social dimension. And if these three are not strong, human beings are born to fall or to collapse. So we need to conserve the environment, be it the trees, the wild animals, the small component in the soil, so that if we keep this world as a whole, we will achieve and have a world where the air we breathe in is pure and fresh, the water we drink is clean, and the soil component will be fertile. For this to be achieved, as a young learners and young generation who have attended our school, you need to educate our laymen and laywomen at the home so that they take the mantle towards achieving an ecosystem that is capable of balancing itself. Are we ready to be the champions, the ambassadors of conservation? Because tomorrow you will be the leaders who will inherit this great land. And if you will not take a bold decision so that as a young learners who will be having the energy to lead this country, they will be in a dim. If we close the schools, you will be out in your villages. You will be idle. You will be vulnerable to greedy poachers who will take advantage of your energy, your time, to consume in poaching activities. So please avoid these menaces, avoid these actions that will destroy our environment. Will you promise me, inshallah? My time is limited. I don't want to interfere with the school programs. I think with that few remarks, I urge all of you to assist the Kenyan society, the Kenya Wildlife Service, the government, the local government, because this conservation is our all-inclusive approach. Despite not leaving the national government, the county government, the law enforcement agencies, the youth, the fathers, the elders, the chiefs, the women groups, we need to collaborate and achieve this bond type of conservation. Because without consultatively and engaging in a one-way direction, will not achieve. So I urge all of you to be part of the conservation agendas as you grow and become the future leaders. This idea, this information, this education, these skills of conservation sinks in your mind and grow up as a conservation champions. Thank you.